So I think I reduced most of the echo. I got a piece of my couch down here. I put up curtains finally, and I'm slowly adding more and more furniture to the whole thing. But now it's starting to get a little warm in here. I can feel the heat from all the electronics on my face right now.
Like, do you know about that extra primal beta that was announced? I was getting actually kind of excited to try it out, and then everyone got an invite but me. I
Oh,
was all bummed out, and then I realized that the first beta is North America only. So I thought I was unlucky, but I guess
that game that's definitely not Dino Crisis.
yeah, definitely not that. Okay, Sexo Primal man.
So the topic for today, we're gonna keep talking about characters in Street Fighter 6, and we're gonna talk about Chun-Li today. So there's a lot to talk about Chun-Li, more than Ryu, I think. So we'll see how
Yeah,
long this one will
absolutely.
be. So
She
first,
changes a lot every game.
yeah, Chun-Li, they usually change her quite a bit. Sometimes she's not a charge character, sometimes she is. So let's talk about the story first. They noted out that she is a former Interpol agent now, so she's like retired. We know she continued her story where she adopted Li Fen, which we obviously saw in the very first trailer, the gameplay trailer, with her, training
Yeah.
her. She gives her a little kick in the back of the head in that.
Mhm.
It also mentions that Shadaloo has been sundered, and now that Chun-Li, she does kung fu classes, and she's like really well loved in the local community. So she's
Yeah, I can't
basically.
imagine why that would be. Smiley. But aside from that, that's an interesting development because we've always seen Cop Chun Li, and now she's not a cop anymore.
Right. It's kind of like her arc is done now. Now that she's just
Yeah,
training, she's just a legend now. But her story's still interesting because she's teaching the next generation, right? Which is kind of where we left off with Street Fighter 3.
yeah, it's interesting because when we first saw the trailer, I thought for sure Lee Fen was going to be one of the playable characters, and I mean, I guess we still don't know, right? It could possibly be in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be interested to see that. So the fact that you would have this relationship with Chun Li, I think would make perfect sense to have her in the game. Or
Hmm.
maybe she's gonna be a supporting character in the World Tour mode. That's
Yeah, I
also a
think you will at least
possibility.
be able to talk to her and stuff. We'll see.
Hmm.
But a lot of people seem interested in that character already. I thought for sure it should be a new character in my predictions list. Speaking of Chun-Li's designs, I still, when we're going over really old Street Fighter 5 footage, I still see a lot of people disappointed on how Chun-Li kind of turned out in Street Fighter 5. Because, like I said, she changes a lot of her moves as the games go by. And in the alpha footage, where we saw like Mike Ross versus Combo Fiend, we saw like a totally different Chun-Li. That spinning kick in the air. She had a lot of weird multi-hitting attacks. She was quite
Yeah.
different. I feel like Capcom held back and brought her more to what we remember her, the classic Chun-Li, and I don't think a lot of people like that in general, from
Mm.
what I've been reading in the comments.
And maybe they just realized that it wasn't working. I specifically remember this match where they were showing off where she was just spamming Kiko. It was
Yeah,
impossible
Gamer
to get
B.
it. So it was probably just very difficult to balance it. And maybe that's why they decided to change the whole design. They just drove themselves into a corner and they went back to something that they knew was going to work because we
Yeah,
know the Street Fighter 5 they kind of rushed it out, so
that's
that's a
true too.
possibility.
With Street Fighter 6, they obviously have a lot more time in the oven, and you can see that Chun-Li is a lot different in this game. But
Mhm.
despite them going back on how they intended Chun-Li to be in Street Fighter 5, she was always regarded as a really high tier character in almost every single season. Despite not having as many, major wins as we would expect with a character rated that highly, but she's always been consistently rated high. I think she was pretty tough
Difficult.
to play, man. I
Mhm.
think she was pretty technical. Like Kubo lately in CEO showed off a lot of cool stuff with Chun-Li. Brought her really, really far. And even in the first season of Street Fighter 5 with like standing heavy punch abuse, Ricky getting second place at Capcom Cup,
Well, I
we've
remember
seen yeah, Chun-Li change a
instant
lot.
air legs was plus some block.
Yeah, oh yeah,
That's
air
I
legs, yeah, I
forgot that
completely
part.
forgot about that. That's true.
Well, something that I wanted to mention is that I know that a lot of people really like Street Fighter 5's Chun-Li visually,
Hmm.
and personally, I'm definitely in that boat. I really didn't like her in Street Fighter 4. I thought she looked terrible.
Oh
But in Street
really?
Fighter 5, Street Fighter 5, she looks great. Like honestly, she does look great. And then I know that there's been some concerns for Street Fighter 6 because she does look different. But I personally really like her new design, especially the fact that she's ostensibly Asian. You
Hmm.
can tell that she's Chinese, which is good because that's what she is. She's been for this whole time. Kind of like that anime design is always carried over, and it didn't really shine through like it is in doing in Street Fighter 6 with the more realistic approach. And they clearly went for that Street Fighter 3 aesthetic, especially with the bigger forehead and the hair. You can tell the hair is really taut back. obviously she has a different outfit. That's probably what is putting a lot of people off. You're kind of used to see the puffy shoulders of her traditional outfit, and especially now she has huge thighs, more than normal,
Yeah, like
with
horse
the
legs.
smaller hands and feet of the more realistic approach.
Hmm.
I think it's kind of like unbalanced, and like all the weight is at the bottom of the character, if you will,
Right.
while the shoulders are much smaller. I
Hmm.
think that's putting a lot of people off, but I personally really like it. It was just my, I guess, appreciation of the new design. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with their classic outfit or every other outfit, because as we know, this character gets a lot of
Yeah,
outfits.
she's notorious for having tons of cautions. That's like her last memory
Yeah,
of Street Fighter Five Chun-Li.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, let's talk about Street Fighter 6 Chun-Li. Let's talk about her moves. I guess should start with her special moves, but right
Mhm.
now it's confirmed she's still a charge character. So she still has the
Yeah.
charge fireball and the charge spinning bird kick.
Mhm.
And like we were talking about before with Ryu, projectiles seem quite fast in this game. Like her fireballs are quick to start up for sure.
Yeah, traditionally, your Kikogen, as a charge move, it's not spectacular. We've seen other charge fireballs being much better than this, like Gala Sonic Boom, for
Yeah.
example. But it's still very serviceable. And in Street Fighter 6, especially the overdrive version of the Kikogen is a laser beam. It's really, really quick.
Hmm.
So I can see it being justified being a charge move. And it makes sense being a charge move still on Chun-Li, since she's usually so neutral dominant. So to give her a motion fireball that is also good would be dangerous.
Right, so her lightning legs, you don't need to mash kick in this game. There's no piano
Yeah.
input. It's simply just core circle forward kick in Street Fighter 6, as opposed to having two alternate ways in Street Fighter 5.
Mhm. Right, right.
I think it's her lightning legs too, Mirror, where when she ODs it, you have an option to end it by pressing two kicks to have a different follow up. It's her lightning legs, right, that had that?
Yes, the follow-up, I think, is the one we see in the trailer as well, where she does this leaping kick and knocks down.
Hmm.
Because normally the EX lightning legs, I don't think they knock down. I don't know if they made it so that you're plus enough to combo or things like that, or if it's for confirming it on block.
Right.
Because in Street Fighter 5, we kind of had this problem where Chun-Li's EX lightning legs are -2 on block, and they're super fast.
Yeah.
So they were really, really annoying, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. It was really good for
So
punishing a lot of things.
to give them, I guess, a little bit of a skill gap solution where you have to visually confirm that you're hitting them, and if you screw it up, you get punished. I
Yeah.
think I think that's probably smart if that's what they're going for.
I like the idea of having different follow-ups to different OD moves in Street Fighter 6 because we see a lot of that with Luke as well. And it's
Yeah.
just cool that there's a lot this game there's a lot of deep stuff with different moves and variations. Like even supers having the air variations. There's a lot of that where everything is not just so straightforward, the specific use. There's
Mhm.
multi-purpose use for a lot of moves so
Yeah, I
far.
guess I guess it's worth mentioning that in Chun-Li's case, the follow-up doesn't seem to cost any extra bar.
Yeah, that's
So
that's a good point.
it's probably, I think it's what I was suggesting earlier, the safety on block and such, like being able to visually confirm it, which I still think it makes sense.
Yeah.
It fits in what you were saying too.
She can still do instant air legs in this as well. I
Yeah.
saw some footage from Kayane. She was trying to connect a crouch and leg kick afterwards, and it didn't seem plus enough where she could. But maybe after like a counter hit, or a punish counter, you probably
Mhm.
can. But it doesn't
Yeah,
seem
punish
like that's
counter
the
on a
use.
throw.
And then she has her Hazanshu as an actual move in this, not just her V skill 2 in Street Fighter 5 as well. Have you
Yeah.
seen the OD version of it?
No, I can say that I have. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
we know that it
curious.
exists because it does say in the move list that it's there.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. At least I
Uh,
don't think I
but
have.
yeah, no, off the top of my head, I don't actually remember.
Hmm.
The spinning bird kick has a different function, or rather, the normal one seems the same, but the EX spinning bird kick is their combo extender now, which is pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah,
So it might not be a reversal, but that being said, that there's a lot of supers that are invulnerable.
right,
So
right.
maybe she won't need she won't need the EX spinning bird kick as a reversal because of the supers.
And then she straight up has her DP kick now in the game, but it's not a DP motion. It's a down down motion, down down kick.
That's interesting because I thought about this before and discussed it with some people in the Discord.
Yeah.
You cannot do this crouching. That's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to go back to
Neutral.
so that could be one of the balancing factors, kind of like you can do a DP crouching, but maybe you cannot do this crouching, so you have to be more prepared. Obviously, it is meant to be an end tier, but we don't know how fast it is invulnerable either. It could just be that they did this to make it harder to use as an anti-air.
Hmm.
Because down, yes, it's easier for people that don't know how to do DPs, but it's also slower
Right.
in general. So I wonder how much of this is an accessibility thing and how much of this is a balancing thing.
Yeah, like can she like cross cut with it if someone jumps over her? Like I wonder if it's fast enough. Like there's a reason why Chun-Li she had like slower anti-airs in Street Fighter 5. I mean unless you count the standing light kick. But there's like a reason for that, you know? Now she has her charge fireballs in Street Fighter 6, they're faster. But if you give her just like a command anti-air as well, there's gotta be some balancing behind that. The EX version looks pretty cool. I mean the OD version, she like does 2 reps of it. Looks like some
Yeah,
good
and
corner
it
carry.
seems really fast. It seems to be to pick up certain juggles.
In terms of normals, Chun-Li has a billion normals in this game. She has like a
Yeah,
command normal mirror in every single direction.
she's missing conspicuously target combos. She has one, which is her air heavy punch, but
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. One new command roll she has is down forward heavy punch, where she does like a two-handed slam and it's an overhead, and that looks really cool. I think she can even
Mhm.
follow up after a counter hit with that as well. I think it was a punish counter, a counter hit.
Yeah, that's true. I was gonna say it's a replacement for down for the medium kick from Street Fighter Five, which was her overhead, and that's gone.
Right, it is. She still has her forward heavy kick, and if you get a punish counter with that, we see it kind of reacts in the same way as her crush counter did in Street Fighter 5, where the opponent was like not crumpled, but he was definitely there's an extra stun state where she can follow up like full B and B
Mhm.
afterwards. She has a forward or back medium punch command normal as well. And the interesting part is she has her down forward heavy kick, but it's not the same as Street Fighter 5. You know that useless move that like Chun-Li players do that always gets punished or they try to side switch with it, where she
It's
jumps over you and kicks to the side?
just exceptionally slow.
Yeah, it's so bad. She has like her classic one from like Street Fighter 2 or even CVS 2, where she kind of flips in place and hits you over the head. So that's
And
cool they brought that back.
yeah, and then it crosses up as you'd expect.
Yeah, yeah. So that looks a lot better.
She still has her air stomps. I guess the traditional air stomps are still there, so
Yeah,
that's worth mentioning. And she can do just like Street Fighter Five. She can do a couple stomps into the air legs.
I've seen
That
that.
still is a combo that exists.
Yeah.
Her wall jump is listed as part of her unique moves,
Hmm.
and that's back too. And so far, I think she's the only character with one, right, that we've seen so far.
I believe, and we know she has an air throw as well. In terms of the normals, most of the interesting ones are all from her stance, and the normals are like complemented by her stance as well. But we've seen a lot of like her heavy punch still seems to reach really far. Her standing light kick looks really strange. It kind of looks like Zeku's, like old Zeku's standing light kick, I would say.
Yeah,
Her standing medium punch looks like it has better range as well, where she kind of does like an elbow. She could still do like standing medium punch linked to the crouching medium punch. Anything else notable with her, just her normals?
well, her standing medium kick looks really weird. It's like
Yeah, it
this.
does.
I wonder if it's an anti-air. It seems like an anti-air.
It is
It's
odd.
not.
It does seem to hit pretty shallow. It is
It's not.
odd.
It's not a poke.
No,
Unlike Street Fighter Five.
no. She's got the back
Um,
heavy punch, the palm still.
the jumping attacks as well. They're a lot like Third Strike. I think her jumping heavy kick again is just like Third Strike.
Hmm.
They seem to have gone back to that version of the character quite a bit for a lot of her moves.
It was a really
And
cool redesign for Chun-Li. I really like CVS2 Chun-Li. They
mhm.
took like her sprite and made it more like Street Fighter 3 Chun-Li, and she has a lot of her moves from that I really like.
I think it's very iconic for better or worse. Obviously, Chun-Li was everywhere
Yeah.
in Third Strike tournaments, and she still is because well, she's broken. But that's
Yeah.
but I think aesthetically they definitely nailed it. So
Hmm.
I think there's a don't want to say love hate relationship, but people know about her like that design.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's finally talk about Chun-Li's new stance, and this is like the biggest change for her in Street Fighter 6. It's called Serenity Stream. And to go into this stance, you have to input core circle back punch. This stance is really interesting, Mir, because she goes really low profile to the ground. So low profile that there's footage of her like literally ducking underneath fireballs and even drive impact. Have you seen the drive impact being low profile?
No, that one I haven't seen, but I'm willing to believe it. She goes under a lot of stuff. Like she's
Yeah,
just low profiling in the stands.
that's cool.
She's unable to block though. I guess it's worth mentioning.
When she's unable to block, did you see if she gets counter hit or punish countered? I didn't notice that. Did you see it?
Oh no, actually no, I haven't. Usually people tend to do more moves out of it, so I
Right,
really
right.
didn't know that.
And she can also cancel into her stance mid combo and continue combos from her stance. So Chun-Li players, she's known as the technical character in Street Fighter 5. She's going to be even more technical in Street Fighter 6 because you have to utilize this stance mid combo all the time for her B&Bs. So
Yeah.
Chun-Li will be a really, if you guys want a character that is going to take a really long time to master and has a lot of depth, Chun-Li might be an interesting character for you guys to use. She looks really
Yeah.
cool with the stance.
I was going to say the other unique thing about the stance is that it seems to be cancelable for moves that are not normally special cancelable. Like, for example, a standing heavy punch. You can do standing heavy punch into the stance.
Yeah, we saw that
So,
footage when like standing heavy punch into stance into like crouch or to light kick and it like reached, then she
yes.
was able to convert it.
Yeah, it was on counter hit, I think, but still, it
Still,
just tells you that this stance is even more complicated than your normal special move. In fact,
right,
it's listed as a unique move, so it probably does have unique rules, as we were just mentioning.
right. So every Street Fighter kind of has their stance character. In Street Fighter 5 we had like Vega, but it's different than Vega's stance, where Vega, he loses some moves and he basically gets more range on others. For Chun-Li, she is more like Gen's stance, where every single button you press is now something different in her stance. Like she gets a full range of 6 new normal attacks, basically. Some of the most notable ones is her medium punch is the sliding medium punch from Street Fighter 5 that can go underneath fireballs.
I'm very glad that it's not crushing medium punch, because I've tried multiple times to learn Chun-Li in Street Fighter 5, and
Oh
their
yeah?
buttons are just so alien. They're placed in such a weird way, and crouching medium punch is such a normal poke that you would use on so many characters.
Right.
It's a slide. Oh, they've
Right.
got me so
you,
many times.
for me, I get confused on characters that have sweeps that are crouching heavy punch. That always throws me off. Like Seth,
Yeah, I could see
I
that.
get thrown off by that big time. But Chun-Li's crouching medium punch, I can kind of get used to it. So her heavy punch in the stance, it's not quite like it, but it reminds me of the alpha footage of Street Fighter 5, where she did that 3 hitting punch. I think in this case it's only 2 hits, but she's like double hitting you with heavy punch. It looks like a really good like combo starter because you have a lot of time to convert.
Yeah, this is an overhead, right?
Is it?
I thought it was.
If it is, that's crazy. I didn't notice that. I have to check back on the footage. I'm sure someone in the
Yeah,
comments will let us know.
actually, yeah, the move list says that's an overhead attack.
Oh, really? So a
Yeah.
2-hit overhead?
You can only do it out of the stance, so I suppose that's
Yeah, but
the,
I mean, you can cancel if you can cancel any normal into the stance. You're telling me you can go right into an overhead? Are you
yeah,
sure?
yes, I'm sure. I'm looking at it.
Oh my goodness. What
But
else is notable?
I guess she has the back heavy kick from Street Fighter 5, but it isn't quite like that because it actually launches, and it's just their heavy kick in the stance.
I'm glad she has that. And you see when the CPU is like on the high difficulty, she combos into that kick a lot. Like that's like her main thing. She's gonna be doing launch combos a lot on players. Like back heavy
Mhm.
punch, or even standing medium kick I saw into stance, into heavy kick. She kicks them up and then she does like, jumping heavy punch into super or whatever.
Her medium kick, it looks a lot like her third strike sweep,
Sweep, yeah.
although she's kind of like spinning around, so it is a little bit different. But
But she doesn't knock
that
down, right?
yeah, it's like a long range cancelable attack
Mm-hmm.
that she can use, and that again, that's another one that probably she can mix up with the overhead as well if it is a low.
Mm-hmm. And once
Um,
again, we mentioned the light kick. It reaches really, really far. She like steps forward like a crouching medium kick almost. Hits really, really far with that.
Oh, I guess one last thing to mention about the stance, which I had forgot to mention until now. It took me a while at first when I was watching the footage to understand that this was a stance, because it's just their Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter 5 crouching stance.
Yeah.
She has a different crouching stance in Street Fighter 6, and it took me a little bit to realize.
Or
So it's just, I mean, again, another callback to Street Fighter 3 Chun-Li design, right? And
mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk about her supers now. She has her Kikosho as her level 1, and the notable thing from that is that she can do it in the air in this game as well.
yeah.
Her level 2 is the most interesting. It's basically her Street Fighter 3 super, and she can now jump cancel out of it, just like in Street Fighter 3. And I really didn't like it in Street Fighter 5 when she did her super and she couldn't jump cancel out of it.
Well, she can. She just doesn't get any combo.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant to say. I don't know. I just feel like that was like a staple for Chun-Li. Like, once again, I'm bringing up CVS2 a lot. that she can jump cancel in CVS too, and that was just a huge part of the character. And since it's a level 2, it has to be more powerful in some way besides just being, more damage. And having
Mhm.
the follow up jump allows for, you can do some mix ups for it, for example, which I like a lot. And then her level 3, pretty much straightforward, just animation. The main thing I remember from it is she does this big overhead kick at the very end and smashes you downwards. It
It's
might,
like a knee strike.
yeah, it's like if you remember her Street Fighter 3 super where she goes straight up and then down, it's
Mhm.
kind of like that at the ending a little bit. Have we seen the CA animation of that super yet?
Yeah, I've seen some footage of it. It's the one we see in the trailer. It's like a jumping dragon kick.
Anything else you want to talk about with her supers?
Well, I guess something worth mentioning in case we didn't make it obvious earlier is that since Oyoku-sen can be jump cancel at level 2, that means you can combo into a level 1 in the air because Kikosho can be used in the air. It probably is not quite as good as landing a level 3 because it doesn't drain as much drive, and I'm not sure if it does more damage, but it could be an opportunity situation thing, like it's like, oh, I realized that I managed to land my level 2 and I can still cash out and land a level 1.
That's a good point. I wonder if there'll be a situation where you'll almost be level 3 and then the jumping heavy punch will give you enough for that one super and then you can land it?
Yeah, maybe that's possible. Oh,
That
and I guess another thing that I want to mention, I've seen Kayane attempt this. Hoyokusen so far isn't it doesn't seem to be invincible. It doesn't go through fireballs.
Oh, thank
So
goodness.
which is probably good in the grand scheme of things.
Yes.
It's pretty annoying.
Yes, no, seriously, that'd be terrible. But now that once again you can use ODs and supers at the same time, just doing any B&B into that EX spinning bird kick and then into a level 2 just looks nuts. So much
Well,
corner
yeah, yeah,
carry,
and
so
since you
much.
can cancel overdrives into level 2s like you mentioned, maybe the overdrive Ozanshu is the projectile invincible move, and then you still get to go into your Yokusen anyway.
Right,
So
right, right.
that's a possibility as well.
Yeah, Chun-Li's move list is so huge in this game. The only thing she's really losing out on is she doesn't seem to have any target combos like we mentioned before. Just that jumping heavy punch, heavy punch. But besides
Mhm.
that, there is a lot of moves you need to understand with Chun-Li in Street Fighter 6. And then there's the stance on top of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess the replacement for target combos is that you can make your own target combo by canceling into the stance
Yeah.
and then following up, which is probably what they wanted to do. But like you were saying, it will make for a very technical character for sure.
And the final thing I want to talk about for Chun-Li is her theme. I think out of all the themes, I like Chun-Li's the most. Unlike Ryu's, you see a hint of her, classic theme remixed in it. Like it's actually resembles some part of Chun-Li's theme. Maybe that's why I
Mm.
like it the most. How do you feel about it?
I could see that. Yeah, I wasn't very affectionate with the old theme. I have to admit, it never really hit me as very good. But then again, it could just be me. So the fact that she got a completely new theme is fine with me, and I like how it sounds. This one
Right.
I do prefer, I think. But as we mentioned in previous videos, I'm pretty sure they're just gonna have the classic theme anyway for people that want it.
Yeah.
It would seem really, really odd if they just omitted it from the game. I
Mhm.
don't think they're gonna do that.
I like the high energy kind of themes, the EDM kind of themes. So maybe that's why I mostly like Chun-Li's theme a lot. Like I particularly really like Falk's theme in Street Fighter 5. So
Yeah,
anything of that style
yeah.
I like.
Well, another thing that made me think a little bit of some of the Street Fighter 3 themes from her new one is that there's a little bit of, I don't know how to say it. There are vocals, I guess, in the background, a little bit of singing, and it
Hmm.
reminded me of Dudley's theme a little bit
Oh really?
with that voice in the background. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it is intentionally a callback to some of the other Street Fighter 3 themes or not, but I did like that. I thought it was a nice addition.
One last thing I want to mention about Chun-Li is I think she's got one of the best intro screens of all the characters so far. You know when they're walking through the stage or whatever? Right
Yeah.
before it says VS and they're doing their poses, Chun-Li faces them. I think it looks really sick. She looks straight at the character stone face. Like she's just ready. I don't know, I like it. For some reason. Out
Yeah.
of all the characters, I noticed that one the most. And then of
Yeah, I
course
mean,
the game faces, I think Chun-Li's got some of the best ones too.
oh yeah, the pout, the
Oh, the
pout's
Pow
good.
face is godlike. I love it.
I was just appreciating the fact that we're probably gonna see a lot of really quirky ones in the
Oh
future,
yeah.
especially for some of the weirder characters.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So let's wrap this up, Mir. I think we talked about everything about Street Fighter 6 Chun-Li so far before we get our hands on the beta. Let us know in the comments below, guys. What do you think about Chun-Li so far? Her move list, how technical she seems in Street Fighter 6, even more technical, and her theme, of course. And we'll get back to you guys going over another character soon here. Thanks for joining me again, Mir. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
See ya.